Walk the Plank for episode 47, I think this is. And we are driving a buggy once again. And overall, it has to be said, buggies actually aren't too bad around the rockhopper. And recently reused the carabid, so not gonna end up doing that again. And I also reused the Typhoon as well at one point or another, so I might consider reusing the Jester, but then again, I've already used this thing more recently, so I might use the Rattler. Since it did not achieve success at the Tenderizer, I'm just going to use this thing for... Yeah, let's have this thing in pink. I'm going to use this thing for rockhopper. You'd think buggy drivers would have love for one another. The bigger boys and girls always pick on them. So you'd think they'd at least play nicely together. Think again. Throw 12 of them together on rockhopper, and friendliness and love are just about the last things you see. I can assure you, friendliness and love is probably one of the last things I end up seeing before any event on this game. Because I know they're basically just willing to intimidate me about as much as Dale Earnhardt. Hence the reason on why he was given the nickname the Intimidator. I can accept third. Okay, let's try this again, except for saying I managed to avoid the bumps on the track surface. Which I think is the most important factor that needs to be absorbed here. Is what me thinks. But yeah, I think it was probably when I crashed. Here on the bridge that ultimately the race itself was just basically handed over to the AI. I mean, I was eventually able to make a comeback and finish in third, but ultimately I think the abrasiveness of the course itself ultimately but I think it was probably the overall abrasiveness of the course that technically costed me what could have been a potential win. I don't think in the end I would have got the win, but at the very least I can definitely say I was in contention. Until the last lap, when everything just decided to go pear-shaped for one reason or another. And oddly enough, that is a sub 2 minute time I just set around the rockhopper. And keeping myself in contention as it currently stands, and overall keeping myself out in front. And also firing up the boost tank every so often, just so I can stay ahead of the competition. Or at least try to stay ahead of the competition. So diving down to the bottom once again, because I know the next ramp will easily scrub off some speed, regardless of which one I use. Didn't lose too much speed in that area. And still keeping myself in contention as it currently stands. And the suspensions really having a hard time trying to stay in collaboration with the bankings. They are pretty steep, even though they are technically made from metal panels, as are these ramps. And managing to limit the damage, even though I did hit the side of that tower. Would have probably been enough to cause a calamity if I was any closer, but just keeping this thing running. And also keeping myself out in front whilst avoiding the metal bars, as we are now onto the back stretch. And really trying not to overheat the boost tank. Literally giving it absolutely everything here at the rockhopper, whilst also managing over my boost tank. And it looks as though this might be a race-winning run, as long as I don't blow up, then this should be a race-winning run. Boosting my way up to the start-finish line, and almost blowing up, but fortunately not on this occasion. As I went across the line, and I guess you could say this is more or less a redemption story for the Voodoo Rattler. Because he succeeded here in spite of him failing at the tenderizer. Because of its, you know, body and chassis just being exposed, of course, to the changeable track surface of the tenderizer. Can't really see the pink very well, but I think there's more or less a shade of it. Even then, if I'm only getting a faraway shot here under the sunset. I think this is the sunset. No, anyways. Okay, I think that should do it. So the race results in the end, I won by almost 1.5 seconds over Shadmahar and Green, completes the podium in what I think is the Jester BXR. Then in 4th we had Hawk ahead of Chan, Jono was 6th ahead of Ariel, Ken Wright finished in 8th ahead of Dempsey, and Smith was 10th ahead of Jackal Strike and Nate Leonard, or should I say Sir Jackal Strike. and Nate Linnet finishes last. So there we go. I win! And it's also fair to say that's now another ticket done. And yes, it is. So, 15 tickets down and still 6 to go. And the next event we are doing is called Bugged Out, and... shit. Oh wait, hold on. Okay, never mind. It's Sidewinder Gulch. It doesn't matter too much. But yeah, Bugged Out is our next event coming up.